What's up, everybody? A Ward here, and I'm here to let you know that the A Ward Show is now officially brought to you by the Ripple to Wave Foundation, where they're manifesting waves of impact, one ripple at a time. Ripple to Wave empowers volunteers to create real change, from mentoring youth and protecting the environment to supporting those people in need. That includes seniors, veterans, and even animals. Yes, even animals. Every project is a chance to make your ripple in the community, and together, those ripples form waves of impact. The team at Ripple to Wave stays active with projects and events just about every weekend, and they're growing fast. Their Albuquerque, New Mexico team just launched their first project, and they're only getting started since their official launch on June 2nd of 2025. Get involved, volunteer, and learn more at rippletowavefoundation.org. That's Ripple, the number 2, wavefoundation.org. Follow them on all their socials at Ripple, the number 2, Wave Foundation on Instagram and Facebook, and subscribe to them on YouTube. Together, let's make some waves. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the A Ward Show. I'm your host and curator and engineer. I am all the things. I am A Ward, and I welcome you guys. I appreciate you guys for tuning in for another week of me just blabbering about sports and music and some movie stuff and whatever else I want to blabber about. Make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you guys like. Make sure you guys comment. You know what I'm saying? It's always appreciated. Make sure you hit that link tree. I tell you guys every week, if this is your first week tuning in, I'm telling you right now, hit that link tree. Follow me on all my socials. Pull up. If I'm not in one of these social streets, like I always say, man, let your boy know I'm pulling up. For those who cannot watch this on YouTube or watch the short videos on TikTok on all my socials, make sure you guys go to your favorite audio podcast sharing platform. Pull up. I'm on Apple. I'm on Spotify. I'm on iHeart and many, many, many others as well. If I'm not there, like I always say, let me know, and I'm pulling up. Make sure you guys go follow my man A Dot, who did the intro. Incredible producer. Follow him on all his socials. Make sure you guys go follow my man Lost Perception, who does the music for What You Heard segment. And make sure you guys go support Ripple to Wave, the official partner of the A Ward Show. Go follow them. They're doing great things. We're doing great things together. And for those that are in the Phoenix area, if you want a way to get back in 2026, definitely pull up. I will definitely have a lot more information as things pop up. But go to Ripple to Wave Foundation. All the socials are right there in the description, and find out how you guys can give back in 2026. Did I miss anything? I don't think so. You know, it's a hectic week, right? Always leading up to Xmas, the holidays. And so I am shooting this on what day? What's the date today? 22nd on a Monday, like I normally do. And so I was able to watch Thursday games, these Saturday games, these Sunday games. I will not be able to watch the Monday game as usual, but I always kind of try to tie some of that stuff into the next episode. Just for context for you guys watching the show. Now, A Ward, please shut the hell up and get on to the sports. Yes, I will. For the first segment, my favorite segment, your favorite segment, the people's favorite segment, where I talk about sports and I probably have no clue what the hell I'm talking about. This is Yo No Say Nada.
Yo no sé nada.
All right. Let's get into it. We had a lot of things going this week, and some things I'm going to leave out just because I wasn't able to fully tune into them. Specifically, the boxing stuff on Netflix, I didn't tune in, wasn't interested. Obviously the news there was Jake Paul got knocked out by Anthony Joshua. There were some talks about scripting and, were these boxing matches already set up from the get-go. Whatever, I'm not getting into that. Like I said, I didn't watch it, so I really can't speak to it. But I love me some football. And we'll start off with college. We'll start off with the CFP. We'll start off with CFB. We'll start off with all the initials, bomb initials. And this ain't JSN. We starting off with college because college football playoff selection committee, college football, we need answers. We need answers. Now, when I put my original feeling about the top 12 teams that were selected to be in the college football playoff this year, when I put it out in the ethos, when I put it out in the social media streets, TikTok specifically, a lot of people had a lot of stuff to say, and I appreciate it. I appreciate whether you agree with me, whether you didn't agree with me. I appreciate all of it. This is what sports is about. We have opinions. We can speak on what the hell we feel, whether we're right, wrong, or indifferent. We all watch the same things, but we don't watch them the same. But I will say this. I don't know how you don't agree with me that we need some goddamn answers from the college football selection committee. Because what we thought was going to happen, outside of maybe the fans of these two schools, happened. Tulane and JMU got smoked like a Texas brisket. Shout out to Stirring the Pot. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Smoked like a Texas brisket. Salt, pepper. Let that thing marinate overnight. Cook that thing for 12 hours. Let it rest. Cut that thing in the middle, watch the juices go. Brisket. That's how much they got smoked. And I mean, it was out the gate. Tulane out the gate. JMU out the gate. We're off to the races. Oregon, we're off to the races. Ole Miss, we're off to the races. I make my own sound effects around here. You know what I'm saying? And the selection committee needs to explain this. I get the G5. Everybody, this is the whole thing of college sports. We have to be included. Everyone has to be included. And I think a lot of people miss my original point, which it wasn't necessarily about Notre Dame per se. Specifically, like I said, I'm fight on all day, 2 fingers up. That's me. I'm USC, everything. Cardinal gold, from the dome to the laces. So Notre Dame is a natural longtime rival of USC, excuse me. But this was the thing of like, in the final rankings, Tulane and JMU weren't the top 12 teams, but because of how you wanted to put the G5, the conference championships meant something, but then they didn't mean something to certain teams. Obviously, ESPN's relationship with the SEC is a big factor. It's a factor whether you believe it or not. It is a factor. And Tulane and JMU had no business being in the top 12. Now, let's be honest. Do we think anybody outside of the top 5 or 6 is actually going to go? If you're not outside of the fans of these teams, Do we actually think anybody out of it? Like, we kind of know who the best of the best in the country is, right? But it could have been a little bit more competitive in those two games. We don't think Notre Dame would have been more competitive. We don't think Texas would have been more competitive in those two games, amongst many others that were in that 13, 14, 15, right outside of the top 12. We don't think one of those teams would have been more competitive. This is no disrespect to Tulane and JMU. Great programs. And what they were able to accomplish this year, fantastic. But there's a reason. There is a reason that some of these conferences, especially top ones, Big 10, Big 12, SEC, there's a reason the Pac-12 dissolved outside of the money issues. There's a reason Pac-12 dissolved outside of the money issues. And now are in the Big 10, the Big 12, the ACC, all that good stuff. Because the top of the food chain is different. It's different. Different. And you even see that with the other two games that happened with Miami and Texas A&M. Defensive showdown, right? 10-3. Miami wins. You see that in the Alabama-Oklahoma game. They couldn't beat Oklahoma. That game starts off, man, it's like, oh, shit, here we go again. And the next thing you know, they get back to playing big boy football. And then you're like, oh, yeah, Bama figured it out. At least for that game. I mean, if you look at the JMU-Oregon score, yeah, it looks decent, like, oh, at least they didn't get blown. But yeah, they got blown out. It was backups and triple backups. It was juvenile in that second half. Because they was backing that thing. There wasn't no starters. Nah. And so, look, I saw on Rich Eisen's show, the chairman come out and say, we're going to go to 16 teams at some point. And in that way, we can make more people happy. I know people was mad about Tulane and JMU. Notre Dame was mad. They not going to a ball game. So what we go do, we go add 4 more teams. And I think we all knew this was coming, but don't bullshit us and say that it's about, we got to make more people happy. It's kind of unfair. I mean, we thought it was fair, but it's kind of unfair. This is about money. This is about money for y'all. And that's fine. We get it. Just come out and say it. Hey, man, we trying to make this thing just go crazy. These NIL deals are going crazy. The transfer portal's going crazy. Coaches are leaving, getting fired. Ooh, wop. We got to generate the dollars. Cool. I think we all understand. We might not all like it, but we all understand. But we need answers, CFP. We need answers. All right. Let's get into the NFL. And we're going to start with that fantastic Thursday night football game between the two West juggernauts in the Los Angeles Rams and the Seattle Seahawks. Stafford versus Darnold. Nakua versus Bominicious JSN. Kyron and Corum against Walker and Charbonnet. I mean, there was just so many storylines. And obviously, the West is on the line. The West is on the line in this game. And it looked like it was about to be a repeat, if not even more so, of the first showdown between these two, because the Rams came out and No Devontae Adams, no Higbee, no problem. No problem. First of all, before this game, when Devontae got hurt in the last game, I heard some professional analyst on professional networks speak about Devontae getting hurt as if it was damn near equal to Micah getting hurt, to Patrick getting hurt. This was not the same. Now, Devontae is one of the best receivers of this era and is still one of the best receivers in the league. Touchdown, red zone threat. He can still get it done for sure. Like he's still playing at a high level. And he was nursing a hamstring injury going in the last game before that happened on a non-contact. And we talked about the non-contact injuries on last episode. But that's not the same. They have so many weapons for the Rams and the way that this offense runs. It does, but it doesn't run through one person. Now, who it does somewhat run through was Puka Nacua, and god damn, this boy played his ass off. Now, there was a whole bunch of news about some of the things he said on the Aiden Ross show, live stream or whatever. These guys are young. They're, getting into stardom. We got to have a little bit of grace. He was also kind of coercing and doing some shit. So you got to give him a little bit of grace there. He said some wild shit as well, but it is what it is. We can't have it both ways. Like, we can't say, like, yeah, man, we want our stars to be honest, and then we got to have a little balance there. But he played his ass off. Him and Stafford. And Kenneth Walker had some big runs in this game. Big runs, chunk runs. He was cooking. He was definitely cooking. And he's had that throughout this season too, where like a couple of games this year where he can just get loose. Like he's not really going to be crazy shifty, but if he finds that spot, he's gone. He's going to make a decision and I'm out. And then Darnold started to beat Darnold, right? Which was like, we've kind of been nervous about this the last, going back to last year, the end of last year, all throughout this year, we've been waiting for that thing to happen. And it's kind of been showing its head, pause, the last couple of weeks where Darnold has struggled later in the season. Now, I will say the first interception he threw in this game, he threw 2 interceptions. The first and the second interception are not equal. That first one was a great defensive play. Great defensive play, inside corner, man coverage. He basically lets the inside receivers, they run 2 slants. He lets the inside receiver go, and he just stays. It looks like it's going to be man-to-man coverage. He stays in zone and just floats right there. And you're thinking, as a quarterback, I'm going to have my outside guy running the slant, probably about a 5 to 7 yard slant, looked like. He's going to be wide open. He actually ran that route great because he had the corner on his outside shoulder. You throw it to the inside shoulder, he's good. He's going to catch that. And if he doesn't catch it, nobody does. But the problem was the inside corner stayed right there, stayed his ass right there. He's like, yeah, you can go on, hang out with them linebackers in the middle. Like, when they replayed that, I was like, damn, that was a great defensive play. Good. No, come on. Second one, great athletic play by Kobe Turner for the Rams. You don't see linemen, defensive linemen make those type of plays. But bad turnover by Darnold as well. It was a bad throw in the end zone. But then all of a sudden, okay, we still got a chance. And the Rams have been doing this. They will put points on your ass early. But the second half, third quarter, they struggle to find the end zone. They give you enough time to think that, yeah, you know what, we can be in this thing. And even in the last game between these two, Seattle missed a field goal to win the game. And Darnold played like absolute ass cheeks that game. Absolute trash. And they were up 21 to something on their ass in that first game. And they were up 30-16 in this game. 30-16 or 30-14. Somewhere around there. It was like two touchdowns. Can't remember the exact score. I think it was 30-16. It's been a few days. You know what I'm saying? I don't have it written down, so don't be hating on me. The Seahawks fans are booing Darnold. Boo. Those in it said boo. Which is crazy to me because I don't think anybody thought the Seahawks would be this good at the beginning of the year, so I'd probably just chill out. I know y'all love y'all. I know y'all love y'all team, man. But chill. Y'all could still have Geno Smith. Let's keep it a buck. Y'all could still have Geno Smith. So we've got to, chill out. But then all of a sudden, boom, 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 Darnold goes down. They scored a touchdown, boom. Now it's 28-30. 28-30, you kick the extra point, you're down by 1, you go for 2. Obviously, you tie the game up. They go for 2. It hits off of a defensive lineman's helmet. Rolls to the end zone. Charbonnet picks it up. Charbonnet for Seattle Seahawks picks it up. Hands it to the ref. New York, New Jersey, wherever they do the review at. Calls down. They're like, hold up. We need to look at that throw again. I think he threw it backwards. They reviewed the play. It was a backwards lateral. Therefore, it was a fumble. Therefore, when Charbonnet picked it up in the end zone, it was a conversion. And now the game is tied. And then they go to overtime eventually. And Puka goes down the field. Again, he had 250 yards in this game. He went goddamn crazy in this game. And Njigba didn't really play well in the first half, but played really good in the second half. He played crazy in the second half. And, man, Puka goes down, scores a touchdown. Boom, now Seattle's ball. They go down. They scored a touchdown. They go for 2 to win this thing. To win this thing because they have to. The tie is not really going to help them. They're not, because no matter what, San Francisco actually holds the keys to the tiebreaker. And we'll get into all that. So they have to be, having lost to the Rams earlier in the season, a tie is as good as a loss. You got to go for the dub. And they did. They ran like a delayed tight end pop. Hit his at. Darnold looked that thing off real quick and then whoop. And holy lateral. This is how the West was won. Maybe. We'll get into that. But I do want to say this about Darnold. If they go on a run, we should, and I think we will, look back at this game, that moment, getting booed by your own fans, throwing 2 bad turnovers. The ghost is on your ass. Casper and all his homies. Feeling the pressure. Probably still going to be in the playoffs if you lose this game, but you just don't know. San Francisco's been playing fantastic, and they've been hurt. Now they're starting to get people back. You just don't know. You just don't know. And he overcame all that to win this game after playing terrible in the beginning of that game. And fantastic game. Shout out to Darnold. Shout out to JSN Bombanicious. Shout out to the Seahawks. Shout out to the Rams too, man. Fantastic, man. They put on a show that night. Thursday Night Football, Amazon Prime had to be like, hell yeah. You know who else was like, hell yeah? Can I get a hell yeah? The Bears. The Bears. Another great game. Oh my. They played the Packers in a crazy divisional matchup, and very important matchup. Obviously, the Packers without Micah Parsons, losing him to ACL for the rest of the year. And this was a defensive game for most of this game. I thought the way that Green Bay schemed against Caleb Williams and the run game, they really didn't crash on the outside line. They were playing contain. They were like, look, man, you can do all that running, but it ain't going to be outside. And they played a little conservative. The Bears did for most of this game. And then again, they tied up. They tie it up 16-16. And on that last drive, you see the specialness of Caleb Williams, the arm talent. And when he just says, like, I'm going to go north instead of going east and west when he scrambles, when he's like, I'm just going to, like, if they're going to block me off on the outside, I guess I'll just stay in the middle. Matter of fact, I might be able to get to the destination faster. And he did. Took off a couple times. Just get upfield. Get upfield. And he could boogie, man. He can boogie. And then it goes into overtime. And the Bears get the ball. They don't score. Green Bay gets the ball. They don't score. And so now there's like 6 minutes left. The Bears get the ball back, and all, like, at this point, any score, a field goal wins the game. And all of a sudden, you see Caleb Williams drop back. And, you know, the thing about it is when you're watching the game, you can't see what's going on down the field. So when these guys let the ball go, especially on deep throws, you're like, I think somebody's open. But then there's sometimes where you're like, oh, somebody got to be open. The way he threw that thing. And when he let it go, I was like, I don't know who it is, but I think he got him. And then as that camera just panned over, sometimes it don't even be in slow motion, but it feels like it's slow motion. I know if you a Bears fan, you like, man, that throw took forever to get to him. And DJ Moore just right there in the end zone bread basket. Caleb Williams threw that thing on a rope. On a rope, bread basket. Here you go, sir. Have a great holiday. Scores the touchdown to win the game. And, man, now Jordan Love did get injured in this game. And Malik Willis came in and he played well for the situation he was put in. And was a couple more minutes away from winning this game for the Packers, to be honest with you. So it wasn't like the Bears, like I said, this went into overtime. And we'll see. This Love injury could linger as we get more information about it. And it sucks, man. When you have great teams and the injuries happen at the end of the year, if they're going to happen, you want them to happen early. If they're going to happen, you want them to happen early. That way you're playing with all your peoples at the end of the year. And they, obviously don't have Micah Parsons. And we'll see how this Love injury affects Green Bay. Now, they got a little help from somebody else in their division yesterday or on Sunday, whenever you're watching this. And we'll get into that. We'll get into all the playoff implications. But, man, I'll tell you what, man, the Bears, man, now that defense will give up some yards and they'll give up some points. But they'll get some goddamn turnovers. They will get some turnovers. And, I know that at once upon a time, DJ Moore didn't like Caleb Williams. He said a lot of stuff about him when he first got there. We got to remember, this is Caleb Williams' second year. We talk about this dude like he's been in the league for 10 years. This is his second year. This is a sophomore year in the NFL. So if we saying we got to give other – Trevor Lawrence had many a year. Herbert that had maybe many a year. So – we got to give Caleb some grace. And hopefully DJ Moore can start to give him a little bit more grace, because he dropped a couple of balls in this game. He was wide open. Like, he let Caleb down early, but they made up for it on that throw. Amazing. Now, I did not realize this, and shame on me and my football knowledge and acumen, that Eric Bieniemy was the running backs coach and kind of helping out with the offense for the Bears. And it totally makes sense now. The Ben Johnson soup, the ingredients that go into that Ben Johnson soup, he figured it out. But with Eric Bieniemy as the running backs coach, for those who don't know, Eric Bieniemy was also on the Chiefs for many, many years, and was a part of that early dynasty run. And was a major part of that dynasty run. It could never get an OC job because, they basically said, this is Andy Reid. Oh, this is Andy Reid. That ain't you. That's Andy Reid. That's not you. And went to Washington and tried to prove himself as an OC there. And this is before Jane Daniels. You know what I mean? Like, they couldn't really get it. Bad teams are bad teams. Bad organizations are bad organizations, no matter who the hell's at the helm. Unless you one of them guys, right? I think Ben Johnson is one of them guys. But Eric Bieniemy being a coach, getting that run game going, getting Monungai going, getting Swift back into the fold. I mean, we gotta start having that the friend of Bieniemy is Bieniemy. You know what I'm saying? Conversation again. And if you think about Kansas City when Eric Bieniemy was there, it wasn't fantastic, but they could run the ball to offset a little bit of what Patrick Mahomes would. When you have an offense like that, you don't need to go crazy. You don't need to be Saquon. You don't need to be Jahmyr Gibbs. You don't need to be Derrick Henry. But you got to be like teams have to respect the run game when you have a quarterback like that. They can't just peel their ears back and get after you. And we've seen that offense year by year just steadily get worse without Eric Bieniemy, at least in the coaching fold. That's my belief. So we really got to start having the Eric Bieniemy conversation again as far as a coach. I know a large part of this is Ben Johnson and his leadership, and he's fantastic. But Eric Bieniemy, he one of them dudes, man. I'm telling you, old school brother too. All right, let's get into the playoff picture because I had to speak on those two games because they were just incredible. I'm not going to break down every game this week because there were a lot of games that didn't have shit to do with shit. But there were some games that kind of set the playoff picture for where we are right now. And there's going to be a couple more games, man, that these next 2 weeks, games are either going to hella not matter or they're going to definitely matter. So, obviously, the Eagles, they won on Saturday. They clinched the division, so nobody else in the division has a chance with obviously, the Giants haven't had a great season. Washington struggled. Dallas has been up and down. And the Eagles clinched the division. All they had to do was win. So they clinched the division, clinched the playoff berth. They are in. Now, I don't know if they're real contenders or not. Do they have the talent? Absolutely. They're still suffering from some injuries as well. Every team is. So it's hard to, I don't know, it's hard to just be like, well, the injuries. Because then you look at what the Niners have done. So it's hard to all, they're missing important pieces, the Eagles are. But they also got some dudes. And if they play at least similar to the way they played this past Saturday, and get that run game going a little bit more, which they did this past Saturday, they got to rely on the run, man. I mean, I get it, man. You got Devontae, you've got A.J. Brown. You want to get those guys the ball. They're some of the best receivers, especially as a duo in the league. But the Eagles are predicated off the run game. We know that. We know what you are. You should know what you are at this point. Nick Sirianni, don't listen to the noise. Don't listen to the shit, man. You've been to 2 Super Bowls. You won 1. First time in that division in 20-something years that had to have back-to-back division winners. You guys keep doing your thing. Carolina got a big win versus the Bucks. Bucks and Carolina are still fighting for that division. If Carolina would have just took care of business last week when the Bucks lost, this wouldn't even be a conversation at this point, but they didn't. And so here they were playing the Bucks for an edge to win the NFC South. Mayfield just has not looked great over the last few weeks. He's been throwing bad, untimely interceptions. The game was 23-20. Carolina didn't look that great in this game. Now, McMillan, that kid for Carolina, man, he's got a future. But I don't even think the Panthers are quite sold on Bryce Young yet. Give him some time. Like I said, you got to give these guys some time. But I don't know. Now, they will play each other in a couple of weeks to end the season to seal the deal. Can Carolina win the rematch to seal the deal? If Carolina wins, I think this is a huge – I don't think they'll do anything in the playoffs, but I do think like certain wins, even just kind of getting into the playoffs for a young quarterback, getting that experience, that helps. And they got a lot of young dudes on that team that this could really like set them up for the next couple years as far as their confidence. I'm not sure outside of the Bucks. They've had Mike Evans being out, Bucky Irving being out for a good chunk of this year didn't help. So we'll see how that goes, in the future. But I do think the Bucks will kind of be in contention in this division for a while. But we'll see. Can Carolina get the strength? Get the strength of the Panther and win this division. I think if they do, I think it's major. I talked about the Rams, talked about the Hawks. The Rams clinched a berth last week. And so no matter what happened against the Hawks, they were in the playoffs no matter what. Now they are back into the wild card with the Hawks beating them and now number one in that division. We'll see how that plays out. Who do we like more? I will, in all transparency, I picked the Rams to go to the Super Bowl. Before I started this show, I picked them to go to the Super Bowl once they got Devontae Adams. I thought that, having the talent that they had, having the offensive weapons they had, they've been solid in defense the last couple of years. Just good enough, right? Not great, but definitely not bad. And which we didn't think would happen after they lost Aaron Donald, right? A couple years ago. So this, they're a complete team. They can score. But I'm telling you, man, if I'm worried about Darnold at the end of games, which he took a little bit of that perception off of him against the Rams, just a tad bit, against the Rams this past game, I worry about the Rams not being able to score in the second half. They can put points on you in that first 20 to 25 scripted plays, however many it is for them. They can put points up early, but man, they come out conservative and just slow in the second half. And that scares me. That scares me. I'm a fan of football. I don't have a team. I'm a fan of football. But I'm just talking about the Rams, and I don't know who I would take out of Seattle or Los Angeles in that instance. Now, that could be all for naught. Because Frisco also clinched a berth. The Lions lost yesterday in a weird last-second loss to Pittsburgh. Weird game. I'm not going to get into all the details of that game. You guys can go check it out. The last play, they called they ended up scoring a touchdown, like a weird touchdown, but they called a pass interference. And since it was called when time was expiring, the game was like there was no touchdown, and then the game was over. But with them losing, with the Lions losing, San Francisco clinches a playoff berth. So those 3 teams are in. 3 out of the 4 teams out of the NFC West, we did think this was going to happen, are in the playoffs on the NFC side. But with the tiebreaker, Frisco been beating up that division's ass all year. So their record is right up there. If Seattle fumbles the bag the next couple of weeks, San Francisco would have the number 1 seed in the West and possibly in the conference. That shit is crazy. Like, they just whooping each other's ass, and San Francisco's like, we ain't even had nobody. The whole crew is not even here, and they just kicking, just winning, bro. They winning. They winning up there. They are winning. And they're starting to get some pieces back. That and Robert Saleh, I'm telling you, he ain't going to be there next year. He will not be there. He's probably getting texts and calls right now. Hey, man, holla at me after the playoffs, dog. We need to have a conversation. So I don't know, man. Is San Francisco really truly the scary? Because they really don't get talked about. Are they the scariest team in the NFC? I know I got a couple home. I got some cousins. You know what I mean? I got some relatives. I got some friends that's some diehard Niners fans. I know what y'all gonna say. Yeah, they are, man. Whisper, I hear you already. I hear you whispering. Anthony, I hear you talking. Man, you already know, dog. You already know. I don't know. That's why I'm asking the question. Are they the scariest team? Because what about the Bears, man? Does anybody really want to play the Bears right now? I mean, let's be honest. Let's keep it a buck. Does anybody want to play the Bears right now? I know they almost lost that game to Green Bay, and they've had some come from behind wins, some comeback wins this year. Last minute, fourth quarter. But shit, that's been a bunch of the teams. And Green Bay or Detroit is probably going to be that last wild card unless they both fumble the bag and then Carolina still gets in without being the division winner. I don't think that's going to happen. But who do we trust out of them? I don't know. Who has the bigger impact out of Detroit and Green Bay? Like, if I'm just going off skill set, I'd probably say Detroit overall. But I don't know what I'm going to get from them. I don't know. I don't know if Dan Campbell's going to try to trick play the whole game to death and go for it on 4th down every time when he doesn't need to. And not get Gibbs involved in the offense when he should be. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know about the health of Green Bay. So we'll see. We'll see. That NFC is tough. It's going to be some games in the playoffs on that NFC side. I'm telling you. And I am telling you. On the AFC side, Denver has clinched despite the loss to the Jaguars. Couple things in that game. Denver lost to the Jaguars in Denver. And, you know, everybody was really high on Bo Nix after the win last week. You know, he played a full game, everybody said, which I agree. But then, you know, people have had questions on Trevor Lawrence, and rightfully so. You know, he has been allowed to just like not be great or even good enough for a long time now, despite being, you know, talked about as the best prospect since Andrew Luck. And if anybody remembers how good Andrew Luck was out the gate, that's some high praise. I didn't think that way, but a lot of people did. And it wasn't going on full bus conversation, but it was like, yeah, We got to figure it out, dog. And Trevor Lawrence had a statement game. I'm not sold yet. I got to see this thing unfold in the playoffs. But Denver clinched. They have their spot tied up, even though they lost to the Jaguars. Jaguars, man, 11-4 right now. They're like, I don't know who saw this, especially at the beginning of the year with the way the Indy was playing. Everybody thought, I think it was a foregone conclusion. Now, injuries have hurt them tremendously, but nobody really thought the Jags, outside of Jacksonville fans, don't come talking that ish. I'm just keeping it a buck. We're going to be right here in the thick of things, and they definitely are. They definitely are. Now, what they've been able to find, and this is where that coach, Liam Cohen, has been great. Offensive coaches are great, man, for these young quarterbacks. And again, hey, man, we got this guy ETN, man. He's a great dual threat running back. He can catch the ball. He can run the ball. He was great in college. He's shown flashes of greatness. While he's been down there, they just haven't utilized him that much, i.e. Breece Hall down in New York. And they've been able to get ETN going, along with Tootin that rock. So Denver is going to be there no matter what they're in. Trevor Lawrence and those Jaguars are right up there, control their destiny right now for that division. The Texans, who are in that division, who I said, man, this team is scary. I don't know who wants to play them, but then they played the Raiders. Now, I do think, because they could have lost this game to the Raiders. The Raiders. And I think everybody went into that game like, yeah, Texans got this. We don't need to watch this. And I think the Texans went into that game like, we don't even need to play this, man. It's the Raiders. Because that's how they played. They were good defensively for the most part. They let Ashton Jeanty get off a little bit. Pause. But Ashton Jeanty is going to be one of those running backs in the league for a minute. If they can get the coaching down there in Las Vegas. But I don't know. I still feel the same way about the Texans. I do. Now, their line has been suspect all year. I thought they were getting things together in their scheme, in their run game. C.J. Stroud being back. That defense is absolutely the real deal, like I've said. The monsters down there in Texas. Blade chopping. Trunk popping. But I'm going to take a little scariness back. Not the whole thing. I'm just taking a little bit. They not as scary, at least right now, as I said earlier. Now, again, I do think they look past the Raiders. I think I don't even know if they watch film on the Raiders, to be honest with you. They was like, yeah, we got this. We still got to play the Colts. We still got to do some things. We still got to play some divisional games. And so I think that was a big part of it. Now, the Chargers over there in the AFC West, they won a kind of close game against the Cowboys to stay alive in the playoff hunt. I mean, they ended up winning convincingly, but it was a game for a little bit there. Look, there's two quarterbacks that I definitely don't all the way trust in this league, and one of them's down there in Jacksonville, although I'm gaining some trust. And the other one is Herbert, who I have not trusted since he came in the league. I watched him in college. I get the arm talent, but I think we fall in love, like people fall in love with arm talent and he can make all the throws. But can you win all the games? Can you win all the games? And he's had trouble with that. Now, it's still young. He's still very young in his career. I get it. But people were like ready to crown him early. People were like, but he's like top 3. Where? Potential? Okay. Show me the L's and show me the dubs. I need to see more dubs than L's. when it comes to football. So I don't know if I'm fully sold on Herbert, and he's on the Chargers. Well, we know, man, every time you like, they gonna be, damn it. But Jim Harbaugh is a legendary coach, and maybe they got that thing going in the right direction. I don't know if I'm sold on Herbert, and I don't even know if they do make the playoffs if they make crazy noise. Now, Indy's still in the thick of things over there. Will the Rivers run for Indy? Well, I'm not sure. I don't think so. I mean, that's a big ask. And I think that I think the Texans and the Jags in that division smell blood, man. I definitely think the Jaguars do. They played against Denver like they had something to win. And that means something. Sometimes playing like you have something to lose is a thing, but sometimes you have teams that are just like, yeah, man, we gotta win. Like, we gotta win. And that's how they played Denver. So I don't think that Texans or Jacksonville are going to let Indy get back in this thing. Pittsburgh and Baltimore, I mean, Pittsburgh's still number one. Baltimore lost to New England. Lamar Jackson's hurt again. They run Derrick Henry, but then they don't run Derrick Henry, and then Derrick Henry fumbles sometimes. So I don't know who we trust more. I guess right now you'd have to say it's Pittsburgh. And speaking of Pittsburgh, this is the weekly time for me to ask the goddamn question.
What the fuck are we doing?
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 What the fuck are we doing? What the fuck are we doing? DK Metcalf. What the fuck are we doing? Fan in the stands. What the fuck are we doing? NFL Pittsburgh security. Baltimore security. What are we doing in NFL security? DK Metcalf was in an altercation with a fan after the game, or during, I think it was after the game, and grabbed over the wall and grabbed him and threw a punch at him. And apparently this fan came out and said, yeah, I was just calling him by his government name. Nobody believes that. The report is that he was calling DK Metcalf's mother the C word, the one that ends in UNT and starts with a C. And DK Metcalf had enough. Now, DK Metcalf has to be better in that situation because it's a lose-lose situation for him. But the fans, like, talk your shit about the game. You can have banter. DK, you suck, man. You can't catch nothing. Cool. But when you start getting disrespectful, talking about people's families and shit, it's corny because you know what you can't do? First of all, 99% of the time, you can't fight them. You can't beat these motherfuckers up. You can't outplay them on the football field. You probably ain't got more money than them. Not that that's always a thing, but sometimes. Your life probably sucks just as, it probably sucks a little bit. As, we all got some shit. You there to have fun and you sitting there talking shit about another grown man. Now, what I also said was, what the hell are we doing? What the fuck are we doing? Security. Because nobody was there to be like, yo, DK, come on, man. And by the time a Pittsburgh official had seen it, there was 5 or 6 people standing around just like watching this happen, and nobody stepped up to be like, yo, what's going on? And so now DK is going to get probably suspended, if not definitely a heavy fine. I haven't seen any news on it yet as of this recording. But I think that fan, man, they got to find that fan and be like, hey, man, You're done, son. You're done, son. Come on, B. You got to get up out of here, B. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, man, I feel bad for I do feel bad for DK because these fans be going overboard. We're all fans of the game. You could be a fan, talk your shit, have your banter, but we got to be respectful, man. We grown men out here. All that weirdo shit, man, cornball shit, we got to cut that out. You know what I mean? So that was it for my weekly installment during the Yo No Say Nada of
What the fuck are we doing?
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 What the fuck are we doing? Last part of this AFC playoff picture, I just want to say, if Josh Allen doesn't win this year, it better be against Matt Stafford in the goddamn championship. If there is a road to riches for Josh Allen that has ever been paved, no Burrow, most likely no Lamar Jackson, definitely no Patrick Mahomes. You've largely been considered a top three. A lot of people say that you're the best quarterback in the league right now. Right now. Arguable with Matt Stafford, a lot of people believe. But Matt Stafford is obviously a older quarterback by football rules. If you don't win, it better be against Matt Stafford. That is the only way you might get it past. I'm being honest. Josh Allen better at least get to the damn Super Bowl. It is the road has not been clearer for this man. I don't want to hear no excuses. You better go to Cook and be like, here, man, here's all the ingredients. This is all I need you to do. I got the rest. As long as we in this thing together, you better win. And if you don't win, it better be in the lifetime performance of your damn life against Matt Stafford. And that's it. I don't care who else out of it. It better. The only team you can lose to is the Rams because of Matt Stafford. That's it. I don't want to hear any other team. Josh Allen, you better win this year. You better make it. They parted the AFCCs for your ass. So you better make it. All right. Now, for the segment that tells you that the boob tube is so good, so good, you got to force yourself to be like, God damn, I got to work in the morning. You got to force yourself to go to bed. This is Turn the TV Off.
TV off, turn his TV off, turn his TV off, turn his TV off.
All right, for this episode's Turn the TV Off, the show that I have been glued to for the last couple of weeks, and I've been waiting to talk about it, and probably should have waited a little bit longer because the full season's not done yet, but it is what it is, the full second season. It's Landman. And, show is fire, man. The show is fire. It's on Paramount. You can start some of the show on Amazon Prime, but it is on Paramount. It is a show about Texas, man. Again, shout out to my people at Stirring the Pot podcast down there in Texas. It's about Texas. It's about oil. It's about the middle of the desert getting oil. It's about white people, black people, Mexican people, money, Texas shit, Texas. And Billy Bob Thornton is the star in this show. He plays Tommy Norris. And I said this on, I forget the name of the last show we talked about with him. And it just slipped my head. Anyways, the last Billy Bob Thornton show I watched, he is not like, I've never really been a fan of him throughout his career. But these last two shows, and this show in particular, Landman, is impressing the hell. He's impressing the hell out of me, man. The job he's doing as an actor, the job he does as a husband in this. You know, his role is basically he's a kind of fixer for this oil company. And every time something happens, he got to go figure it out. That's kind of where the Landman starts off. If you guys haven't watched it, it's got 2 seasons. They're getting through the 2nd season right now. So if you start the 1st season, by the time you're done, you should be able, the 2nd season should be out, depending on how quickly you watch your shows. But he does a great job, man. Great job in this show. Like really, really, really dope. Now the wife in this show was played by Ali Larter, from, what was it, Friday Night Lights, I want to say it was, the old movie. She plays Angela Norris in this show, and her character is goddamn frustrating as hell in this damn show. The whole show, she just creating problems when it don't need to be no problems. First of all, well, I can't ruin it. But the wife in this show, you guys let me know. I mean, just argue. What you arguing for? Just arguing. Now I'm not sure. I gotta really talk to my Texas people, but this really feels like some Texas shit, man. Like this show feels like, if this is Texas, and then Texas, this is what it feels like. And I don't know if I told you, man, but did I mention Billy Bob Thornton is acting his ass off in this show? I don't know if I said that to y'all, but he's acting his ass off in this show. So super dope show. Just really good. Just a really good story. Really good story. Really good storyline outside of the wife, who I'm just like, man, I'm like, damn, every time they show one of these scenes where I'm like, God damn, man, why? Why? So, if you guys haven't had a chance, go watch this show. Like I said, it's on Paramount Plus. For a few episodes are on Amazon Prime. Landman, starring Billy Bob Thornton. For this week's segment, Turn the TV Off. Now, I know you're looking for fire tracks to add to that playlist, but music has been really, really Christmassy the time of year, which it is. So a lot of times during these times when music is slow, I go back in my catalog and my Rolodex for all my older people. I flip through the pages in my black book, and I find some music from back in the day. And what I found, I'm about to tell you on this week's What You Heard. All right. So me and my boy Troy Goodlow, shout out to Troy, shout out to my man Goodlow. We're having a conversation the other day, good friend of mine. And we talk about a plethora of things. And this particular conversation, we're talking about music, old music. And I was like, man, what about Petey Pablo, man? Do y'all remember Petey Pablo? Petey Pablo. Now, he's still out doing music, but this album, released in 2001, is called Diary of a Sinner, Volume 1. And every so often, I go back to this album. Produced by Timbaland. Has that signature Timbo sound through most of this. But this was like when the South was really cranking. You know what I mean? Like, in all areas of the South. Atlanta, you had, Texas was, big Houston scene. And then here comes this guy from North Carolina. And he's screaming about it. He's screaming about it in his debut single, Raise Up. And we're like, yo, who is this dude? And then I got the album, and it was so unorthodox with the Timbo production and the way that Petey Pablo would rap. And he had a little run, man. But this album in particular, Diary of a Sinner, Volume 1, I still go back to this album, and I'm like, yo, fire. Now, if you looking for the lyrical, super lyrical stuff, this is a vibe. But I will tell you this, the one thing that people from the South can do, rappers in particular, they can tell some damn stories on some tracks. You think of guys like Scarface, Devin the Dude, and Petey was doing the same thing all over this album. Like I said, for me, my standouts on this album are Raise Up, the signature track that when you guys go hear it, you guys be like, oh yeah, I remember this. I got them fire. My personal favorite on this album is I Told Y'all, and what I had, y'all won't listen to me. Now you see me popping out, got you in the club, dancing your ass. Man, come on, man. Just a vibe in that Timbo production. That 2008 Timbo shit, if you remember. Fire. And then the last one was Fool for Love, which is one of those like Devin the Dude type stories. That's just like the beat's dope, but the story is incredible if you listen to the lyrics. I love this album, man. I go back to this album. I keep it in my library at all times, and I love this album. Definitely a cup of tea type of album. Not for everybody, but if you guys have a chance, go back. A lot of Christmas music right now, so go back and listen to this. Pick a couple songs that you like if that's what you want to do to add to that playlist. And let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, man. Shout out to Petey Pablo. That's Petey Pablo. Diary of a Sinner, Volume 1 for this week's What You Heard. Now let's get to the end of the show. I've been talking to you guys for a minute, and I appreciate you guys if you guys are still rocking with me at this point in the show. Let's get into this week where I'm gonna, give you something to walk away with from this show. This is my narrative. All right. I'm shooting this a couple days before Christmas, and I am one of those guys that believes whatever you celebrate is what you celebrate, and whatever it is, I hope it's the best. It's the best time of the year, one of the best times of the year for you, whether it's religious or whether it's just celebration or getting with family or whatever. But when it comes to the idea and kind of the social construct of Christmas now, right? It's about the gifts. We know that a lot of people are struggling right now. I know I have a lot of, friends, family, that are like, hey man, we got to dial it down this year. We got to dial it down. So that, let's just get stuff for the kids. Let's not really get stuff for each other as adults. And that is what it is. That's their thing, our thing, whatever we got going. But the one thing about gifts is they don't always have to be monetary. They don't always have to be wrapped up. They don't always have to be material items, because we all have gifts. And as we get into the new year, as we get through the holiday, find your gift, find your thing. Not just your passion, but find your gift, find that thing that you're good at and that you also love doing. Or just find that piece of you, that part of you, that trait that you have. Find that thing that's like, yeah, man, when I do this, man, I notice good things happen because of it. I notice when I talk like this, or when I have this type of energy, or when I do this certain thing, that good things tend to come when I do these things. People tend to feel better. People tend to have better energy. Whatever it is, find that thing that you offer and lean into it. Lean into your gift. And don't be afraid to share that gift with the world. Whether your world is small and local, or whether your world is large and it's global, or you want it to be global, don't be afraid to share your gifts. And don't be afraid to receive gifts from others as well. But find your gift. What is your gift? What is that thing that you do, that you say, that vibe that you have, or that thing you create that you are really freaking good at. You can almost do it by second nature, and you love doing it. Find that and then lean into it. Lean all the way in. Make it your own. You wrap it up. You put the bow on it. And then you just write world for who it's going to. And give that gift every day. I appreciate you guys. I think I'll see y'all before the new year. I'm not sure. I got to look at the calendar. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to record before the new year. But if not, definitely have a great new year. Definitely have a great holiday. Whether it's Christmas, whatever else you celebrate. Have a great holiday. Enjoy your family. Enjoy your loved ones. Enjoy yourself if it's just you chilling. However you do that, that's your personal business. It ain't my business. You know what I mean? I just mind my business. But enjoy, be happy, be merry, and have just, hopefully, I really wish for you guys to have a fantastic week. Again, make sure you like, subscribe, make sure you leave ratings on the audio. Like, subscribe, comment on this episode and past episodes and future episodes. If you are not able to watch, always go to the audio, leave me a rating. I'm on your favorite audio sharing podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple, iHeart, all that. Make sure you hit the link tree, hit all the socials, hit all of my homie socials in the description. Go follow them, go run it up. Make sure you tell your mama, your cousins, your grandmama and them to pull up to the A Ward show and say what's up. Other than that, I love y'all. Y'all have a fantastic week, and I'll see you, John, turkeys, next week.